Hi, folks. Thanks for joining us. I see there's a few people already here. I hope you're coming over from the premiere. I hope you had a chance to see episode 215 with our storyteller Versa from New Mexico about the loss of her son Julian. I see Brenda teleported successfully. Good job, Brenda. Good to see you here again. So, and we have a few others. It's always cool to see the crowd grow. So, I wonder. I don't know if Versa. Here's a thing. Sometimes during premieres, while the premiere is going on, I'll also be exchanging text messages now and then with the storyteller, just making sure the storyteller's doing okay. I see Versa's here. That's awesome. So the storyteller is with us here. So if anyone has any questions you'd like to ask Versa, please feel free. The words ignore your question, but I'm sure it'll be fine. So it has been a little while since we've done the live thing. My wife and I had a small vacation, and we're back at it now. We already have the next story ready to publish, and that'll probably happen on Thursday. So it's nice to have a little to be caught up a little bit. Good question. San Diego Janie. Oh, I think that we're going to wind up in San Diego shooting stories uh, later this year. I believe we've had several inquiries from San Diego and from Los Angeles and San Francisco and Portland, Oregon. And so I think we're going to have some sort of West Coast kind of event coming up later in the year. Yes, no, she was. Versa, we also have a series of recovery stories. If your daughter ever wants to share her story, we can make that happen. But whether she shares her story or not, there's some really impactful recovery stories that she might find interesting. She would, she would, she might find it. I don't know, inspiring maybe. I don't know. The recovery stories are so important to me because we hear in the comments on the stories we publish about fentanyl, we hear a lot of comments from people that are in recovery or new to recovery or just want to be in recovery, and being able to tell them that there's a series of stories that are all about people going through recovery and being in a victorious place is being able to tell people about that really means a lot to me. So I'm not in the program. Are you talking about AA, NA, that kind of thing there, Brenda? Some people love AA and NA and feel like it's great. A lot of people do, and AA and NA have a higher than typical success rate long term. But it's certainly not for everyone. Whatever pathway works for you is the way to go. Some of the stories in our recovery series praise AA, and some of the stories don't mention it at all. So finding your own path is really the key. So here is I'm posting a link to the recovery series. What? All right. So here's a link to the playlist of recovery stories. I really don't know for sure how many there are. These. Good to see you here again. Thanks for joining us. Getting off fentanyl is hard, but best thing I have ever accomplished. Okay, Brenda, here's the thing. It's the best thing you've ever accomplished so far. That's the way you got to look at it. You have a lot of things to accomplish ahead of you. Eleanor, thank you for joining us. He's your favorite guy. Taskmaster, I'm an NA guy, but it's not for everyone. People all get caught up in the God thing, but everything in the program is a suggestion. And here's another thing, Taskmaster, you can, and correct me if I'm wrong, but with NA and with AA, meetings, individual meeting groups vary from group to group. That I've heard from a lot of people in the program who will go to one group and not really connect right, and go to another group and maybe just something's off there, and then eventually they find a group where it's just a lock. It is a good solid fit, right? Oh, this claim. Okay. Absolutely. You have to find the group for you. Yeah. It's that I think that and this guy I talked to who knows way more about addiction than most people, I think, the former White House drug czar that we spent a couple of days interviewing, he said that a big part of what makes AA and NA work and what makes other programs work is accountability. A sponsor creates accountability, and being part of a group creates accountability because there's a kind of connection you have with them that they're not going to kick you out if you have a relapse, but there's this feeling that you're kind of going to break their heart too. You need to address the trauma, then you can stop drinking and drugging. Yes, for sure. The trauma is where the real challenge is for any kind of personal ill. Same with issues like suicide. Suicide is the end of it all. The issue is whatever trauma, whatever mental health issue, whatever thing is going on that starts someone down that path toward that that terrible conclusion. And so catching it early, the the trauma, the whatever, recognizing that it goes farther than what it may appear. It can be hard for a lot of people to acknowledge that some traumatic experience or some circumstance that put them in a position of being a victim. It can be hard for some people to acknowledge that that impacted them more than it appears to have. Let's see where I'm at here. Regardless of the subject matter, I find that groups are important for safety net when one is needed. Yeah, that having the group, the accountability to the group, and the importance of your membership in the group, because you being there helps others as well. Pat, what you said about groups, I think that's a human trait, that that groups tend to work that way regardless of what the role of the group is. I think I think that group thing is part of the value that many people find in church too, is the fellowship. AA didn't work for me, D's. Uh, Whatever works. We've heard from plenty of people who say AA didn't work for them. And we've heard from plenty of people who say that AA is great, NA is great. It's an individual thing. Taskmaster, as you said, it's all trauma. I actually didn't know that for years. I think often we don't realize the trauma that shaped our path. Bingo, that right there. That is such an important thing. The, the trauma that shapes our path, that it can be there and we never recognize it. The trauma that shapes our path can be something that we don't even really remember. Not it could be something we don't want to remember, but it just could be something that we don't remember, but it gets you going down a path. If you have some traumatic experience eating broccoli, even if you forget that first traumatic experience, you're still not going to like broccoli. You know, broccoli's okay. As you said, it's all trauma. I actually didn't know that for years, and we don't realize. Yes, childhood trauma took me 15 years to dump. Steps 4 to 9 re-traumatized my bad. I've always had to find the hardest way to achieve my goals. The hardest way to achieve your goals. Now, that's an interesting statement. I have always had to find the hardest way to achieve my goals. Maybe that's because you set some really good goals. Goals that are a challenge, goals that are hard to achieve. Achieving difficult goals is a bigger victory, right? Went to rehab on my own accord. Yes, that is key. Everyone who goes to rehab has to be going because they want to. Has to be in that frame of mind where have to be in that frame of mind where they want it. They absolutely want it. Pat, I see you bringing up the journey. we we were talking about the journey. Was that yesterday? Maybe I said the journey matters too. You guys know the quote by Theodore Roosevelt about being in the fight, about the journey, about the credit, right? You know this quote. Taskmaster, sometimes taking the drug away. Yeah, I can read, really. Sometimes taking the long way around is more thorough. The devil is in the details or the time dedicated. Very good. Journey implies a destination, which is why I call mine an adventure. Because adventures are lived minute to minute. You're in the fight. You're you're in the fight. You're in the arena. That is awesome, Brenda. I'm glad you were able to keep your sponsor. Wow, did I miss one? Didn't work for me, but I kept the sponsor. Sponsors are a big thing. Yes, Jenny. Life is a journey. Life is. It doesn't. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. It can be. There are people who just kind of take life as it comes. Okay, somebody asked about there's a book. There's a book called 1001 Comebacks to 1001. Oh, come on. What is it called? I don't want to. In the chat, someone asked about a link to the book. You achieved your goal. Didn't forget the journey. The challenge isn't great. The victory will be shallow. That's right, Brenda. So, okay, I'm going to tell you guys the Theodore Roosevelt quote. Probably I'm repeating it for some of you, but I'm going to do it anyway. But here's a link to a book that one of our storytellers, or more than one of our storytellers, put together. 1001 Great Comebacks to Peer Pressure. It's a PDF document that you can download. But here is the link to that. And so there's this thing that Theodore Roosevelt said. I just as I read the comments from you folks, and just my mind keeps going back to the quote, the thing that Roosevelt said about being in the arena. And so Roosevelt said the credit belongs to the man or woman, whatever. The credit belongs to the one who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes short again and again, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, and spends himself for a worthy cause, who at the best knows the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. So that's as I read these comments from you folks, that quote just keeps playing in my head. Haven't reads better. Furry, I did the same thing. My biggest mistake was not linking my dad's alcoholism to my sister's addiction, so I too caught the family plague. Thank God I detest alcohol. Well, detesting alcohol could kind of be a byproduct for sure, right? So, but you guys, the 1001, we need to do a few things to sort of promote that. It's a kind of it's a creative approach to responding to peer pressure. So I don't understand what the I haven't reads better comment means. Their taskmaster. Am I did something? Thank you, Brenda. That's right. Yeah, there'll be a like button for this. I don't actually see it, but maybe you guys do. There's a like button maybe somewhere under the video screen that I'm in right here. Some uh, for some reason the link didn't work for me. Blank page. Huh. The link for the book. Well, okay, that's pretty impressive. It's blank for me as well. Okay, so never mind. Let me just have another look and see if I can find it. See, I'm looking. Hmm. Come on. Where is it? All right. So I'm striking out with finding the link, but I will, and I will be posting it on Facebook and the. Thank you, Dees. I feel blessed to get to do this. This is it's not it's not hard for me, and I get to do something that brings a little joy into people's lives that are suffering, and and I get to do something that helps others. I'm just very grateful. Thank you, Dees. Thank you, Glenn, so much. Really appreciate you sharing my son, Julian. Verse, I so appreciate you sharing your story. So since you're kind of new to the gang, Versa, maybe you could share a little bit with the group about what it was like doing the interview. Because I think there's are interested in sharing a story, but are a little hesitant. Yeah, thank you, Dees. It's 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 hard to take compliments graceful, you know. I'm I feel like I have to do this because I can. So I will. You guys, uh, hang in there. We'll post something on the YouTube community with a link to the book 1001 Comebacks to Peer Pressure. Oh man, I missed the story. I have to go back and watch. Much love to the family. Fly girl, yeah, you should, but yeah, the story's there. In fact, I can have a look and I can see how the story's doing right now. We'll just go here and see. We'll just have a look. Oh yeah, and for you members, the I always forget about this. The members only version is now available to uh, to members, to sponsors. And so the members only version, the difference between the members only version and the public version is that the members only version doesn't have commercials. That's it. And so Fly Girl, you can see the members only version. The members only versions are always identical. There are a few things in the members only section that are limited just to members. There's some raw interviews and a little bit of other material, but our hands are pretty full. We're always looking for ideas for what else we can include for members, but that's the bulk of what's there right now. Sounds great, Fly Girl. You guys are getting ahead of me. In several photos, I see a strong physical appearance to my son, meaning resemblance, I guess. Made your story hit me that much harder. Nice sentiment to share, Pat. Very, very nice. Okay, so I was going to look at something, right? I was going to check the views for the news story so far. Julian's story has, has had 967 views. That's a lot. That's reaching people. That's Julian saving lives, increasing awareness, warning people, and also kind of taking a shot at the Albuquerque Police Department, I suppose. So, how about that Albuquerque Police Department? They gave you the drugs back. That's that would be for those of you who didn't see the stories or didn't see this story. The drugs were in Julian's clothes in his, I think, left pocket. there were drugs in his pocket that the police returned to Julian's parents. This is the second story we've heard like this. There was another story that we published maybe a month or so ago where the victim's phone was in a case much like this. And you see how you can kind of see through it and see this magnet ring that in the center of the ring was a folded up piece of paper, and inside the piece of paper was a bunch of white powder. And so the police department never took the phone out of the case, never looked at what that folded up piece of paper was, but you could see it. And there's pictures of it in the story. That's right, Brenda. Yes, Taskmaster. I whatever story it was. There was. We hear more and more from family members, parents who are, we'll say, disappointed with how the police department has handled a case, and that's being kind. To say they're disappointed, they're furious. Some are furious, and rightly should be furious. There's no defense for that. That is grossly irresponsible. There's a criminal charge for that, negligent homicide. If someone would have found that drug in the phone and it turned out to be a lethal dose, that is negligent homicide. So I'm just gonna. I don't know if you guys can hear those voices downstairs here at Texas Pictures World headquarters, but eventually they'll figure out that they need to be quiet. I think that'll happen. I think that'll happen pretty soon, but I don't, anyway, I rarely rant on law enforcement officers because we junkies are making their lives so difficult. But handing poison to civilians is, yeah. So we work with law enforcement a lot. I have my own bulletproof vest, and have good, solid relationships with law enforcement. They are. I know lots of really spectacular cops, but law enforcement agencies draw from the same pool of potential employees as everybody else. Bad one. But I can rant on law enforcement a little bit because I feel like there is no. No, I haven't. I haven't borrowed their bracelets. No, I'm, not yet. Maybe one day, but no, not yet. I have had some interesting experiences during ride-alongs. So, yeah, okay, but law enforcement has had some standard. Yes, Pat knows the jewelry well. Free rides and yeah, they're thanking them. That does happen once in a while. A prisoner will or a former prisoner will go back and look up the arresting officer to say thank you, to express their gratitude that night when they went to jail, that was a wake up call for them that stayed with them. Uh-oh. Africa Morales, thank you for your comment. Hey, thank you for this incredible. Okay, and that's about. Okay, so we're just gonna do a little bit of Google. Thank you for this incredible work you do. I have seen the stories told by the parents. They are heartbreaking. Addiction is a serious issue. Thank you, Africa Morales. Grateful. Look, okay, Versus got this because Versus speaks Spanish. But law enforcement tortured. Well, don't get in trouble. Or Pat's experience with bracelets is all stems from, at least the ones I know about, all stems from trying to do the right thing. But law enforcement has some practices that they always say they're overwhelmed. Doesn't matter what they're talking, anything that is new. And these, it's not just dirty cops, just lazy cops and police departments that use fear as a way to get more money out of municipalities, the city that funds them, the county, the whatever, that they'll use fear. They'll say, we're overwhelmed. And uh, it's not accurate. Why would they be overwhelmed when reported crime has gone down dramatically over the last 30 years? There has never been a time in my life when I do not remember law enforcement agencies saying that they're shorthanded, that they need more overtime budget, and they need more officers, and they need more equipment. That's just the standard thing that every law enforcement agency, every fire department does it too. Every every department in a private corporation does the same thing. I'm overworked. I don't. I don't buy it. Yes, poorly trained, Brenda. That's another one. There is. I've worked with a lot of police departments. The Houston Police Department, Baytown Police Department, LaPorte Police Department. Belton Police Department and uh, sheriff's offices, state police, uh, a little bit all over the country, mostly in Houston and the surrounding areas, but a little bit in other places as well. And there's gigantic differences between agencies, some that have this really spectacular work environment where there's this contagious level of enthusiasm among the officers. Some, the opposite is true. There's a contagious level of lethargy, a contagious level of disinterest in performance, a contagious level of entitlement. So, and it's easy to spot. It doesn't take much. So, I'm sorry. I just have to look at stuff. We have a lot going on around here these days. But they're so horrible towards substance abusers. Yeah, yeah, many of them are. Many of them are, but nowhere close to all of them. I've done some ride-alongs. I did a ride-along with a bicycle officer once, and his whole job is interacting with homeless drug addicts, and he was passionate about his work. And holy cow, bicycle. Doing a ride along, they gave me a bike, and I followed him around on a bike. Couldn't shoot a whole lot of video other than mounting GoPro stuff on the. Yeah, so but managed to shoot a couple of interviews. Had a backpack that had all the equipment. I was shocked to find out how often many law enforcement agencies do retraining. Never. Okay, Taskmaster. There is certainly some training that never happens again. But at least in Texas, there is a certification process that has to be repeated regularly to maintain uh, their certification as a police officer. It's mandatory that officers, at least in Texas, and I imagine everywhere else, that officers go through so much training per year, every year, and that training, some of it uh, is there's some flexibility about identifying risks, some training about drug related issues, about working with uh, people who have mental health issues, how to how to evaluate non-lethal force and things like that. There is something in place that keeps training fresh, but I don't know. They cannot understand that all of the users are not these bad people. Yeah, yeah. Some feel that way. Some just look at them as being losers. It's just a waste of time. Oh yeah, you usually find us unresponsive in our vehicles, homes, or fast food bathrooms. Yeah. Couldn't get it all in one comment. Why does that not surprise me, Pat? laying all over the sidewalks. And people, I think, in general, tend to see scenes like that, like Kensington, Philadelphia, and there's places like that in at some scale in every major city in the United States, and it's easier to pass it off than it is to recognize that all of those people have families, they've got parents, they've got siblings, many of them have kids, and regardless of how they got where they're at, they're where they are, and, and they're still people. So when I did that bicycle ride along with that officer, it was refreshing to see that level of compassion with him and the way that he dealt with the homeless population that was part of his job. I know I sure felt like a loser in active addiction. I was a horrible person. So now, D, some people would say it wasn't you, it was the addiction. Like, yeah, it was you. I think you got to own it. It was it was the addiction, but it was you, and that's okay. We've all had our spots of being a horrible person, and look at all you've learned. Look at the things that you know and the things that you share, even here, even here with 30, 40 people that are part of this. I see we have 8 thumbs up. I just noticed that 8 thumbs up. There's over 30 people in the group right now, 38, and we only have 8 thumbs up. What's up with that, folks? Come on. It just takes a second. Okay, so anyway, that that horrible person spot, that's something that everybody has at least moments like that. That's right, D's. Thumbs up. Okay, we're at 10 thumbs up now. 10. 10. There's almost 40 people in the group right now. We have 10. That's okay. I see how it is. I'm going to need a tissue. All right. So, anyway. I wanted to die rather than continue to hurt my family. Couldn't figure out a way into heaven if I committed suicide. So I just gave up. Then God did for me what I couldn't do for myself. That's a great thing to share, Brenda. Wonderful way to That's a wonderful way to pay it forward. That's a wonderful way to even spread the gospel without getting all preachy. No offense, Pat, but it's a way to spread the word by example. And it's very cool. Good job, Mary, hitting the like on the way in. So we got over 40 people here, and still just 10 thumbs up. What? Where's that tissue? Okay. All right. So anyway. So I'm gonna share with you guys. I have this idea. You know, we've done. Some of you have been part of live events where we use Google Meet to have a storyteller join us during the live event. So, so I have been thinking about this new format. I guess it would be. I guess I have use Google Meet to have three storytellers join us at the same time. So it would be four windows. I would be in one window, and the other three would be storytellers, usually parents, I imagine. But three storytellers that have similar aspects in their stories that can talk about specific issues, like three storytellers that talk about their experiences with law enforcement, three storytellers that talk about their experience with emergency room physicians or their experience with rehab facilities or their experience with first responders. So it would be kind of an open discussion kind of environment with three storytellers and me. You go D's. I could still like stuck at 10. So thank you, Mary. Yeah, I could call the series, could call Three Angry Moms. Three Angry Moms, law enforcement. Three Angry Moms, rehabs. Three Angry Moms, school systems. Or Three Angry Dads. Look at you guys. So yeah, the thumbs up thing is still just sitting at 10. I wonder why. What's up with that? Evidently I can't thumbs up anything, but anyway, that's all right. Main reason I got into rehab was because I randomly stole a boombox from someone when I was drunk, then lied to a friend's face. I'm not a thief. I got tired of saying it wasn't me every blackout. Thanks for sharing, Taskmaster. I show 11. Cool, Mary. Now that saying it wasn't me, that's one of those automatic protect yourself kind of reactions. I love my trips to inpatient rehabs, except for the 3 reflection days I had to serve for breaking a stupid rule. Much each trip. Breaking a stupid rule. A stupid rule. That sounds like there's a little bit of aggression there, a little bit of frustration over the rule. So, gosh, Brenda, what was the rule? Let's hear how it was stupid. It's all good. I was making horrible decisions. Tatiana, thanks for joining us. So, speaking of the recent story, Julian is up to 1,400 views now. Versa, if you're still with us, over 1,400 views. Going very well. And I would just come on. Oh, come on, machine. And And quite a few comments I see as well. Taskmaster, our actions are not who we are unless we refuse to change them. Changing them or refusing to change them are actions too. Our actions are not completely heartbreaking. Drugs going in Julian's pocket. Task: if I took a Xanax the next morning, I would have to look at my phone to see what the heck I did the night before. Okay, okay, Brenda. That's tough. Tatiana found D's 40 in chat and only 12. Oh, look at you, D's. You go. Versa, you have to X off the live chat screen, then under the title of the live, hit the like, then hit live chat, and you're back here. Yeah, Versa. So it appears that a lot of positive comments are coming in on the story as well. So, gosh. Hmm. Stupid rule: no fraternizing between the sexes. I was 50 years old and was talking to a Native American boy of 20 who wanted to come to Oklahoma to learn his heritage. Glad you're here too, Dees. Really glad you're here. Stupid rule: no fraternizing between the sexes. Uh, yeah, you gotta figure there's a reason for that rule. Rules like laws tend to be reactive. They get created because there is some problem, and people in leadership are trying to fix it. Yeah, Dees, glad you're here. Got it. Thank you, Mary. Okay, we got 13 thumbs up, is what it shows me here. We have a fraternizer in here, Taskmaster. So it does kind of seem like a stupid rule because it's so broad. But yeah, I know how that 50-year-old women can be. That's right. So yeah, so Julian's story is I'm checking over 1,000 in the last hour. 1485 is where we're at now. Thank you. So, all right. So anyway, back to my idea about three angry moms or three angry dads talking about law enforcement or talking about rehab or talking about first responders or hospitals or whatever. Seems like that could be a cool thing. It would kind of be an open discussion. It wouldn't. We could do it like this. It could be a live thing with the chat going. He and I were in a group therapy together. Okay, now it seems like if there's a rule about no fraternizing, kind of ought to not be in the groups together. That seems a little inconsistent, but that's just me. Geez, what a wonderful platform we have here, everyone. Let's show Glenn some love and get those thumbs up. Tatiana, thanks for watching the story. Story's over 1,500 views now, which is kind of the high end of our average lately. We last week my wife and I had a little vacation last week, and so we managed to publish a couple. We managed to publish a couple of recovery stories, but that was it. So our recovery stories don't draw the same attention as fentanyl poisoning stories draw. And hopefully we'll have another human trafficking story to add to the series soon. We also have a domestic violence story that we are working on. And it is, yes, Tatiana, recovery stories are very important. We have a whole series of recovery stories and love having the recovery stories, because when people who are in addiction or in recovery comment on the fentanyl stories, I can point them to the recovery stories and say, here's some good news you might find interesting. And so I can share with you, Tatiana. I don't know if you might already be aware that we have a whole series of recovery stories, but if not, there's the link to the playlist for recovery stories. Oh, Pat. Yeah. How dare I put personal alone time? We always, with the trips, we usually manage to make a little me and Sherry time whenever we're at a location. But we actually took a short cruise, and my wife Sherry is a travel agent, and so she has connections and knows the ways to get really good deals. And so we're going on another cruise at the end of March that has a couple of storytellers joining us on the cruise. If anyone wants to, I think it would be quite pricey now, but you're welcome to join us on the cruise. What happened here? Is someone upset? Oh, yeah. Pat was giving me grief. No, everything's fine, folks. Nobody's upset. I did have a good birthday. I had a great birthday. It was nicely uneventful, and my mother wrote me a wonderful letter. That was very nice. These great minds think alike. I made rotisserie chicken and mashed potatoes with chicken skillet gravy. I made rotisserie chicken. You made it. I see the $6 chickens in the grocery store that are under the heat lamps that are rotisserie chicken. $6. That's pretty good. So, is that making them? Good job, Pat. Okay, so I got a Pat. Speaking of Norfolk, I got an inquiry about when we're setting that up, and so I suppose we need to I suppose we need to set a date for us to come to Norfolk. We could really use more stories about human trafficking. We have, I don't know, I want to say 7 or 8 stories that are human trafficking stories, and they're drawing a lot of attention. So I'm sure there's an audience who would like more, and we're not really delivering. We're also working on a series about domestic violence, and if I had an easy way to let you guys see a little bit of it, I would. Maybe I do. I can get inventive here, I think, and maybe show a little bit. Where is it? Here it is. Okay. So I'll do that, and then do this, and then do this. Okay, I'm muting it. So look at that. Then and there I am live right there. How about that? Okay, let's see if I can share this. So I'm gonna share a little bit of an excerpt from an interview about domestic violence. I'm just jumping right into it here.
To court to get the order, but he also knew that the order was in the car because in front of the deputy, I couldn't get the deputy to serve him. So now he knew that I've got a signed order by the judge. So I finally got a sergeant and a third round of deputies over a period of a couple days. And everything kind of had to go off without a hitch because it.
All right, well, that's enough of that. So there we are. That's just a little bit of the raw interview from a story that we shot in Arizona. A story that we shot in Phoenix, and I'm really excited to get this story out. It's about domestic violence, and it's a really important topic. It's a topic that needs more attention. Okay, what did I miss? That's D's. Brenda, honey, that's awesome. Allergic to vegetables. Yes, there's a rotisserie on our outdoor grill. Okay, a rotisserie on your outdoor grill, but I don't know, $6. Anyway, hurry before it gets cold. On my way, babe. All right. No, not for breakfast. So anyway, I think we're about at the point where it is time to wrap it up. I have What are you saying? Dees, what are you saying? I'm cracking you up. All right. Well, I should be more responsible and more serious and not be so humorous. Thank you, Mary. So coming up soon, it's a little over a month out, is the anniversary of Texas Pictures. Had to check out. I'm sorry. The storyteller, her name is Julie in the DV segment. And she is incredible, energetic